Today we're sitting down with the founder and chief wellness officer of Therabody, Dr. Jason Wersland. Jason is a trained chiropractor and created everyone's favorite at-home machine tools, including the Theragun, after struggling with a debilitating motorcycle accident injury. His company has since attracted celebrity investors, including Kevin Hart and Jay-Z. Jason, welcome to DITL.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
How's your day going?
Good. I'm just stopped shivering from my cold plunge, literally. So I like when I was on my drive here. So I'm feeling good.
What time did that cold plunge take place?
I had a couple of calls this morning right after my workout, so I had to wait till I got done, which isn't the most ideal. But I jumped in at just after 10 a.m.
Okay, and it's like 11:45 now, so like a solid hour and 45 minutes to really come down from that.
It's not typically that long because if I go in right after my workout, which is how I usually plan it, my body acclimates super quick. But I was standing on calls in my sweaty workout clothes, and I ended up taking my shirt off and putting a sweatshirt on because I started to get cold. The wind's blowing kind of where I was, and it was like just enough. So when I got in the water, I was already cold. So I think that's why it took me a minute. But I literally was just shivering downstairs like, whoa.
How do you feel now?
Feel good.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
We need to get
my feet aren't numb
heat
anymore.
Cranking in here. Rosie, actually, our producer, told me that it was a little bit chilly in the studio today, so that is not helping.
Oh, well, I'm glad I dressed accordingly.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So on DITL, we always start at the beginning of your day and we'll work our way through. So What time do you wake up and how do you get your day started?
I typically set my alarm for 6:30. And depending on how I feel when I wake up, to be honest with you, I wear a Garmin watch that sort of gives me my numbers. So I'll kind of check in with how I feel before I look at the watch. I look at the watch. I'm getting really nitty gritty on this.
And why a Garmin versus some other technology or ring or anything?
Yeah. I've tried other ones, several other ones. Being in this space, you get exposed to a lot of it. And there's a lot of conversations that go on around the biometrics and how accurate the different technologies are. And I've just found for me that Garmin just seems to be more accurate. And it makes sense to me. I mean, they do billions of dollars in avionics and they're tracking ships and, there's all those types of things that they're able to track, work with government, military. So that's why I use it. And it gives me a lot of a more in-depth data that I like.
And then I notice you're wearing like a regular watch right now.
Yeah.
So do you take that watch off for the daytime?
I take it off right after I work out, right after I got out of the cold plunge.
Okay.
So it's with me all night into the morning, tracks my heart rate while I'm working out, my steps and my movements. It's my timer for the cold plunge. And then when I get out of the cold plunge and get in the shower, that's when I take it off. And then I just put another one on.
Okay. So you check your stats.
Yeah. So I check my stats. I'll just kind of lay there for a second. And then Joe Dispenza has talked about the best time to meditate is first thing in the morning when you're not fully awake yet. And so I will lay there. And another trick that he talks about is you kind of, with your eyes closed, you look up with your eyes and it kind of creates this sort of tension on the backs of your eyes that allow your body to get a signal that it's still kind of sleeping. And so I'll just sit in that space for a minute, kind of keep my eyes rolled. And I go through a mantra that I have said in my mind for years.
Do you mind sharing that mantra?
No. I say, today is a good day. Today, something good will happen to me, for me, or around me. Today, I will make someone smile and someone will make me smile. I'm healthy and strong. Then I kind of have a couple more that I do. Healthy and strong. I'm abundant in all things. I'm a powerful source for good in the universe. My children are healthy and happy. My wife and I are powerful people with powerful intentions. And I think I end it with, I think that's the last. I'd have to kind of go through it, but then I end with, today is a good day.
I love that.
Then I jump out of bed. I usually go straight down and change to my gym clothes so that there's no gap between. Otherwise you get distracted, So I'll just go straight downstairs, changing my clothes. This year I made a goal to journal every morning, just to get something in my journal. So I just sit down quickly and write something out that just comes to me, a thought.
And just plain sheets, or
Just
are there
plain
prompts?
sheets. Yeah, no, just plain sheets. I've had one before. There's a book called 369 that I'll jump in and use that sometimes, just to, if I feel like I'm being repetitive, like you sit down and you're just like, what am I going to say today? I'll grab that, and it outlines like, what are your intentions for today? Give me 3 thoughts, or make a list of 5 things you're grateful for, or stuff like that. So I've had those over time, but I usually write in this one what I really want to happen, if that makes sense. It's like I'm not observing things. I'm like, this is what I want, and so I'll write that down.
And walk us through your workout.
Wow, we're getting into that.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe that the further you are from balance, and I mean physically balancing, the closer you are to death, to be blunt. So if you can balance, ideally on a skateboard or something that's moving, then you're going to live longer because your nervous system is intact from head to toe. A lot of times when we sit for long periods of time, or as we age, we don't do that. I asked my mom the other day, she's 76. I said, when's the last time you jumped? She's like, oh my gosh, I haven't even thought about that. I'm like, I'm buying you a trampoline. Like, you need to just start jumping. That movement and what it does to your bones and your joints and stuff. She's getting her knee replaced, which kind of got us thinking about it. So I do a lot of balance work into my exercise. So the first thing I do is I Theragun right out of the gates. So now if you think I've woken up, went downstairs, changed, journaled, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then I gun. I mean, as quickly as I can. And I have a certain attachment that I use to start with. We call it the large ball, which is one of the largest attachments, the largest attachment. And I'll use that just kind of wake my body up. There's areas like I have an Achilles issue on my right, and I'll kind of spend some time down there. And I'm intentionally telling my body, we're getting ready. I love you. We're going to be good today. No pain, all good. I just that's a process. That's my intentions. And I'll kind of go from toe up to my shins, my head, all the way up. I'll get done, sit down. I'll do a ab workout that takes probably 5 or 6 minutes. It's not long. To just kind of get me moving. And for me, it stretches and activates my lower back and my abs and hip flexors, which a lot of times, because I sit in the car a lot or in my office or something, those seem to be the ones I need to activate. I'll get up, get my tunes rolling, make sure I have my weights out. And then, do you know Insanity?
Of course.
With Shaun T?
Oh my God, yes.
Right?
Yes. I had a friend who used to work at, was it Beachbody? It was like the parent company.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shaun T.
Shaun T's my man.
So do you do Insanity?
Yes, I do Insanity. I do Insanity 3 days a week, 3 or 4 days a week. The days I don't do that, I run. And on the days I run, I'll usually put in extra hard weights. So this morning was an Insanity day. So I did Insanity on an interval, the rest time. I threw in some balance exercises with it's called a Bondo board. You seen those? They sit on a big cylinder and they have a board that rolls across them. So I'll challenge myself. So I try and do one arm at a time, or I'll put one out in front, do one sideways, just to try and keep my balance. Then I stretched. So I did that. Intervals with weights, finished. I was running a little behind because I had these calls. So I kind of cut it short, which today's workout is one of my favorites. And I try to get all the way through to the end. And if I can breathe through my nose, we're getting nitty gritty on this, right? If I can breathe through my nose for the last 4 minutes of what he's doing, then I know I'm pretty good with my conditioning. And today I couldn't. It's been Christmas and there's been so many things. I haven't done it for a while, and I was gassed and I was kind of mad. I was like, dang it. So that's how I'd sort of register where I'm at. If I can exercise that whole hour almost and then finish the last 4 or 5 minutes with my mouth closed. And that really burns.
And is that something that you incorporate in every workout you do, that last few minutes of breathing? Or is that just sometimes when you're trying to really test yourself and see where you're at?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
It's a little bit of both. When I run, there's certain times I do it that I know typically is the hardest between a couple of blocks. And so I'll know, like, just keep my mouth shut. There's a guy that wrote a book called Breathe named James Lester. And he basically researched what nostril breathing does for the body. And he went around to several tribes around the world, over 150 tribes. And I just learned so much from that. It made so much sense to me. So I'm super conscious of that. So I don't typically do it finishing every workout, but I'm conscious of that, and I'll throw it in different times through my workout.
And will you incorporate nose breathing throughout your day as well?
Yes.
Beyond just the workouts?
Yes. I have this thing called quantum breathing that I do.
Tell us what that is.
Oh, wow. I didn't think about that. So quantum breathing is breathing the things you want into your life. And the way you do that is you activate parts of your nervous system so that your brain accepts that it's real. So quantum breathing is you're breathing things that are in the quantum space into your life that you don't have typically. So let's say I wanted a new car. I know it's physical, but it's true. I mean, the universe doesn't care, like car or a new baby or whatever. So let's say I want a new car. I'm gonna find a picture of literally the car I want, with the wheels, with the color, everything. These things are kind of, most of the time they're on my phone, but I've seen them enough that I know what they look like in my head. So I breathe in, hold for 3 seconds, and then I exhale. But the way you do it is the key. So what you want to do is close your mouth, and you're going to double breath in through your nose. And I'll explain what that means. Little babies, or you, when you've cried, a really good cry, your body goes,
Mm-hmm.
That's the nervous system trying to down-regulate your nervous system, because it can't be in that space. It's too much for your immune system, for your sinuses, for the pressure, the blood pressure in your head. So it's trying to calm you down, and babies do that naturally. So what you do is when you breathe that in, it opens your alveoli, which are the little sort of strawberry-looking things that are on the ends of your lobes of your lungs. And that's where the blood exchange is. And the little dots in the strawberries are like valves or like pores. And if you can open those up really big, you get a lot of oxygen coming through and a lot of contact with the blood surface. So you can really, if you do it right, you can really get yourself worked up, like in some really cool ways. Joe Dispenza does some really cool meditations doing this, but I just want to activate it a little bit. So what I do is I close my eyes. I think about what that car would look like, or a degree, or a house, or a trip, or whatever that would be. I close my eyes and I imagine what that would look like. And I'm visualizing it as I go. And as I hold that for 3 seconds, I'm holding that picture in my mind. And then as I exhale, it's like an excitement almost. I exhale and allow myself to feel a feeling of what it would feel like to have that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I put a word to it. So one of mine is that my children are healthy and happy. So as I breathe that in, I imagine what it feels like to see them doing that. And to me, that was generational joy. So that's the feeling that I want to feel as I exhale. So I see my kids. I can see right where it is. We're standing on the back of a balcony. I've got my arms around both of them, big smiles, and then generational joy. And it's their kids and their kids and their kids. Like, just that's the sort of thing you get. So I usually will do that throughout the day. And that's when I'm conscious about my mouth being closed.
Incredible. So cool. I want to incorporate that into my day.
It works. I'm telling you, I used to do it with the company. We used to have it called Hump Day with Dr. J during COVID, because it was, we do it every Wednesdays. Gets me kind of choked up remembering that. That was so hard. But man, we'd have 30, 40 people on the call, and I'd have them bring their intentions. I'd set it up so they knew what they were doing. And then we'd just breathe. Say, all right, we're going to get started. And it'd be 5 to 6 minutes. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. And then we'd sign off. And I had so many people email me or text me and be like, you're not going to believe this. I had stuff happen to me too. It works.